Hello, my name is Dr. Ruth Newstifter, or Dr. Ruthie. I'm a professional sexuality educator and a relationship expert over at exploringintimacy.com. And thanks to the good folks at Funwares, I'm here answering your questions about sex and relationships, which you can send in to me at Ask Dr. Ruthie, AskDrRuthie at funwares.com. Or you can visit my blog and send them over that way. Find me on Twitter at Dr. Ruthie, whatever works for you. This time, I've had a lot of questions lately about what counts as sex and what counts as cheating and what counts as losing your virginity and all sorts of questions like that. So the first one I want to answer is, Dr. Ruthie, does using a vibrator count as cheating or count as sex? And that is an excellent question that I'm happy to answer. I spend a lot of time talking about sex toys and how they can help you discover your sexuality, help you relax, help you have better orgasms, even help you in your relationships, whether it's you using them by yourself or you using them with a partner or lots of partners, and how you can do that safely and in fun ways that explore your sexuality. But I don't really talk very much about what happens if someone is concerned that this is not being appropriate within your particular relationship, or whether this might somehow set you up poorly, as though you were having an affair or cheating, or if you've decided to wait to have sex, that you're somehow ruining your virginity or something like that. So this is a wonderful question to talk about. My first thing to consider, or that I would ask you to consider, is to think about what sex means to you and who it's for, and what your particular ethics and values are around those. Those are not questions that I can answer for you, although I can offer you suggestions and ideas to kind of open your mind about it and kind of debate things back and forth. In the end, those are things that come from your gut and your cultural experience and the direction you want to take your life in. So, for instance, is your sexuality for you, or is it really something that revolves all around a partner that you have now or you may have in the future? Is it something that is sacred to yourself? Is it something that you see as exploring and sharing? Or is it something that you see as a gift that is simply given for the other person to use or enjoy as they see fit? Asking those sorts of questions about what sexuality is to you can help you decide what sort of activities are appropriate for you and your own ethics and morals about sex, whether it's vibrators or masturbating or casual sex or waiting until you're married. It can kind of help you address those sorts of concerns. And make sure that you're finding partners who have ideas and morals and values about sexuality that are in line with the ones that you have. So once you have a better idea about those things for yourself, then you can make sure that you're finding partners who are in agreement or at least respectful of your particular lines about it. The other question to think about for yourself is, where is this worry coming from about the sex toys, that they may be inappropriate to your current or future relationship? Are you worried because of your own ideas about what sex toys mean, or are you worried because of your partner's ideas of what sex toys mean? If you're in a relationship and you feel as though your partner might not approve of your sex toys, think carefully about why this might be. It could be that your partner just doesn't understand what sex toys are and what a positive part of your life and your relationship they could be if he or she were a little more open-minded about them. It could be a jealousy issue that has a little deeper cause. Certainly, if this is part of an overriding pattern of being controlling about your decisions, especially sexually speaking, or about your pleasure, then definitely take a good close look at the relationship and decide whether this is a healthy partner, a healthy situation for you, and if not, what needs to be done about that and who you can turn to for help about that situation. But hopefully it's because your partner just doesn't understand, is a bit anxious, or maybe has some bias about what sex toys are. In which case, either bringing in a professional that can help to introduce the topic, or, finding different media that talk about how normal and healthy and sexy and fun it can be. And introducing them to your partner in a loving, caring conversation might be just what's called for. Because this can be a wonderful thing to share with your partners, and far from being cheating or being the same thing as partnered sex, it can be a wonderful enhancement to your life, which, cheating usually doesn't turn out that way, at least not in the long run, although sometimes, I guess, everyone has different experiences. Um, And these sex toys certainly can bring a positive aspect to your life without those kind of repercussions once everyone's in step with each other. And to remember that sex toys can also just be something that you enjoy for yourself, and that you don't necessarily have to share to a partner. You don't have an obligation to share that information with them. This is about your private sexuality. I hope that you are in a relationship that will welcome that kind of conversation, and where the two of you can support each other and each other's pleasure and experiences like this. But in the end, you're no more obligated to disclose this than to, disclose the brand of pantyhose that you prefer to wear if you wear them, or some other sort of personal decision that you just make and handle on your own. And it is absolutely normal and natural for someone to feel a little bit jealous if they see that their partner is getting more pleasure, or really more accurately, a different kind of pleasure from a sex toy than they are from the interpersonal sexual relationship. Now, there's lots of ways to address this. First of all, masturbating it's a wonderful communication form with yourself with immediate feedback. So you know exactly what needs to be adjusted, and you can go ahead and implement that immediately, which makes it easier to have uniquely pleasurable experiences with masturbation. Yeah, you know exactly what you're thinking. No one has to read your mind because you're there in your own mind, so it works very well. So that's nothing for a partner to be jealous of. It's a wonderful thing for a partner to learn from, to be able to do even more things that please you and that please each other. Now, if the worry is that the sex toy is some sort of replacement for the partner, I hope that we never reach a place in this world where, a small plastic or silicone item with a little motor embedded in a couple of buttons can somehow show up a whole nother person, and all of the wonderful things that come with a sexual partner or sexual partners. And so a little bit of reassurance might be called for, or simply just a little reality check for that partner that this hunk of plastic, this hunk of silicone, I may joke that it's my best friend, and it certainly gives me lots of pleasure, but it is very different from a human partner, and isn't really a partner at all. It's a tool or an implement. And so another person in my life means so much more than that. So that can be another way to counter this particular question. But if you really are worried because you may be using a sex toy for vaginal or anal penetration, and you're worried that that constitutes sex, I would encourage you to think very, very deeply about what sex means to you and how it's defined differently by gender, how it's defined differently by sexuality and who one is attracted to. And to think about how those might encourage you to open your own definition about what it is. For folks who have had experience with intercourse, I hope that it is clear to you that it is very different from pleasure with a sex toy, although pleasure with a sex toy can be a wonderful part of intercourse, absolutely. Again, that piece of plastic or that inanimate object is very different from a physical partner and the experience that comes with that. And so when it comes to whether a vibrator counts as cheating or whether it counts as sex, hopefully sex in your life means a whole different thing and a whole lot more than any sort of exploration or personal pleasure that you have with a toy. But in the end, it will all come down to your particular cultural values and personal values and relationship agreements about what counts as sex. I hope that this is something that your relationship and your background allows you to enjoy, but in the end, it will be you who makes that call. I'm Dr. Ruthie. I hope this helps you think a little bit about where you stand on the particular question of whether sex toys count as cheating or count as sex, and I will see you at the next video.